Oh my gosh, and vice versa.
Yeah?
More so.
I don't know. We can fight about it later.
Okay.
I like this one.
These are good. These are machlokas l'shem shamayim.
And the amazing thing of it is that you come
Why? I want to pour you. No, you took it from my hand, so put it in your hand. It's another machlokas l'shem shamayim. I wanted to pour myself, and she's grabbing the pitch. She says, "No, it's in my hand." No, it was-
No, it's delicious.
And you put it in.
I really needed water, so thank you so much.
You buy them in.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay, very good. I want to start. Amen. I want to start by telling you that we're so excited about Rosh Chodesh Tevet that's coming up because we're renting Beit Alliance.
Oh, fabulous.
Fabulous.
Wow.
It's a big room so we can hold.
Oh, it's an awesome place.
It's an awesome place. It looks like a dump, but it's like such a vibe, like unbelievable. And right, like it's the vibe in that place is the history.
Nice.
And we have like a really nice program set up, and Rika Razel is going to lead us in the Rosh Chodesh again, and we're gonna hop and pop. Okay,
Yeah.
hop on pop.
I need to sponsor because I have like 3 yard sites.
We welcome sponsors because this one is going. I want to tell you.
Yard site season for us.
Okay, I want to tell you that last month's event, Rosh Chodesh event, the budget of it, as silly as it looks like, it's just in somebody's house, that didn't cost, people didn't, but there was an expense because of violinist and then the catering and the disposables and other things around it. And before you know it, it's a few thousand shekels. And I want to tell you that the sponsors, we have 2 of them at our table today here. So thank you so much, Adele and Frida. And it really made a whole big difference. And then that means the cost can be down and people can come and feel like they're not paying an arm and a leg to, and then that plugs in the rest of it. And so, but this time it's a little bit more of a budget because we're going bigger, because we're renting a place. So yeah, we welcome sponsorships, dedications. Okay, good. And it's a good thing we have going here. It's like very exciting what we're doing here, no? It's like, and this is the Rosh Yeshiva of Sheva. It's her mastermind. You know, when a vacuum was created for women's learning in Yeshivat Simchat Shlomo, she said, "We're doing Torah and art. That's going to be our thing." And yes, you.
We're not allowed to say you anymore.
Why? Well, it's
I'm joking.
politically incorrect.
The spokespeople say that you can't use you or you have to
Who's
use-
offended by saying you?
I'm just joking.
Oh, you're joking. Okay,
Oh,
good.
the crazies are. Yeah, the crazies.
Before you know it, you will be politically incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We have Nechaman, we have Hannah Zeller Sarah Zeller on Zoom, and we have the people here, but now Freddie went off.
Nahamski, hi.
Nechama, where are you in the Negev? Rishon Bria,
Shombria.
Shombria, Shombria,
No, Shombria.
Shombria,
Shombria.
Shombria. Okay.
They used
Okay.
to live in Gush Katif, but they moved.
Oh man, that's rough.
Really?
They were moved. They were. What a kid. Okay, so now I feel bad for Frida. Friday. She says we can call her any of those. I can never get Shani's right. Shani, Shana, Sheena. It's like there's a few ways of pronouncing
That's like Shani.
Shani, Shana,
Shiny.
Like the Shani that's like short for Shoshan, but then there's also
Right.
Shani when they're named after color.
the color, Shani. Okay, anyway, without further ado, I apologize. Those who are listening to the recording. This was just babble, and now we're getting to the thing. Okay.
She has to go live.
Yeah, I did. So all of this was recorded.
I was just.
Okay. What's gonna be with Friday? I don't like to have her miss, but okay, it's not nice, but what can I do? Okay. So the Lamed. First of all, I want everybody, after you swallow what you have in your mouth now, I'm calling you out. No, you can eat. I'm not calling you out on it. I'm just,
I get it.
I don't know, because I want you to do something and you need your tongue in your mouth.
Levanti.
Okay, everybody form a lamed in your mouth and look at what's happening. It forms a lamed. It forms a lamed. The hand takes the shape of a lamed.
Right.
It's a lamed. It starts at one point and it goes up. Okay. So the Zohar Hakadosh calls the lamed, which you already have here, Migdal poreach ba'avir, a tower soaring in air. Migdal poreach ba'avir. Why is it called Migdal poreach ba'avir? Because visually it's the tallest letter, and it ascends above the line. There's no letter that does that. All the other letters, with the exception of Kuf, because the Kuf has a leg that descends down, but the Lamed goes above the line. All the other letters are betoch hashura. The Yud is floating within the two lines. Let's say if you have a lined sheet. So all the other letters fit between. They're all like the base of them and the top of them end at the same place, except for the Lamed and the Kuf. I'm not going to talk about the Kuf now. I'm talking about the Lamed. So why is it called Migdal Poreach Ba'avir? There's a pasuk in Yeshayahu that speaks about.
Doesn't the test also go above the line?
We're talking about Torah script.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a pasuk in Yeshayahu. Where's the Yeshayahu that speaks about the letters? Migdal Poreach Ba'avir, where we get this idea of Migdal. Why are you calling letters Migdalim? Towers. All the letters are called Migdalim, and it's based on a pasuk from Yeshayahu that he saw the towers, Reiti or something. Where's the pasuk? Oh my gosh, my notes are like, I did this when I was half asleep. I'm sorry. It's all in my head, but not nice. Okay, it's just my notes. It's in my head. Forget my notes. Okay, so it's like, but I don't remember the source, but it's somewhere in Yeshayahu that Migdalim. There's called like I saw the Migdalim. I saw where the Migdalim are. Okay, and the Migdalim. Then so the Mefarshim on that pasuk, like in the Talmud and in the Zohar Kadosh, say what are the Migdalim? These are the otiyot. Why are they called? Why are they the otiyot? Because the otiyot are the kochot, are all the powers that build structures that we use to go from one place to another place. Like we have a migdal is a tower with its head up on like high, receiving the shefa Eloki, receiving God's bounty into the kli of the otiyot, and which becomes, but the otiyot, like ot is letters in Hebrew. What else does ot mean in Hebrew? A sign. So the otiyot are signs, are symbols for ourselves, and to know what the powers that we have to work with. These are the otiyot. These are the building blocks of creation. These are the kochot. And so they're like what do you call a lighthouse? They're like lighthouses.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so why is the lamed migdal poreach ba'avir? Because it's a migdal that ascends higher than all the other letters, and it's a letter that speaks about aspirations. It's a letter of she'ifa, of going in a certain direction. For instance, how do we use lamed in Hebrew when we want to say I want to go somewhere?
Yeah.
We put the lamed in front of a word, and then it becomes to something. The lamed is a letter that gives direction, that points you in the right direction, that speaks about a purpose for which you're working towards. A goal. Now, if you're going to work towards a goal, what's important to know? What do you need to do to have the potential actualized, to know how to execute the plan to reach the goal? you need to see things. You need to see far ahead. Ezu chacham haroeh et hanolad. Right? Who's the wise person? That who sees that which would be the outcome of the steps that I'm going to be taking now. Are the steps that I'm taking now? Is it going to lead me to where I want to go to? So the lamed, it looks like a person kind of towering over all the other letters and like looking ahead to see, to strategize what's the best way to get to where I want to be. Le'an ani holech. Me'ain bata, next week we're going to do mem is a letter, mem is the letter of makor, of the source. Me, where the starting point of something. The lamed is the yaad, is where you're going to. And that's why all the words that have lamed have that connotation to it, and we're going to have fun with it. Okay, the lamed in terms of where is this leading to? What do I need to do? Now, lamed as a word, what does it sound like? What is it telling us? Limud, lamed. Okay, so
The first time lamed is used in the Torah
yeah,
is in the fifth book because it's a teaching.
it's a teaching.
Yeah, it's a book of teaching.
It's a book of teaching. It's
Yeah.
Moshe Rabbeinu teaching us. And I did not know that the word lamed is it's in Devarim. Because we have lamed as in the beginning of a word first when it appears in Chumash. That's what I usually go after. It's v'kara la yom laila. And we're going to speak about that later.
So the word lamed for the first time is.
Yeah.
The word to teach. V'limadet mincha, I guess, probably, I'm guessing. It's in the Shema, probably.
Probably.
Okay.
I hope.
Because it's in one of the first chapters of Devarim. Okay, so fine. So lamed, it's to teach. It's to learn and to teach. It's both teaching and learning. It's the same word. Bilmod al menat lelamed, because that's what you're supposed to do with your limud. What are you supposed to do with what you're lameding, with what you're learning? Either to, okay, so the Jewish way is it's not just for it to have a bunch of information cluttering up our mind. It's to lead somewhere. It's supposed to do something with the limud, right? So it's to take you to something, to a place, to greater knowledge that's going to allow you to be this migdal poreach ba'avir, this tower that ascends upward. It's when applied to limud Torah, lomdei Hashem, you want to be a lomed Hashem. You want to understand how to ascend to the heights, to spiritual heights. That's the purpose of limud. But it's also to know how to navigate, and that's the ruchnias, but also in the gashmias. You want to build a house. You need plans. You need to know what materials to get to yourself. You don't want to buy too many materials because then you're going to be it's a waste of money and you're left over with all these extra tiles you don't know what to do with, and then you break them and make mosaics from them. But whatever. But you may not have wanted to use your money that way. But so the limud is like strategizing where you're going and what's necessary, what's not necessary, what's going to promote you, to lead you to where you want to go to, and what's not. This is the chokhmah of the lamed, of limud. That's the purpose of it. Okay, so because so it's like a vision. It's a letter, a visionary letter, because it's above everything else and it's looking forward to see how I can move myself forward. So when you say higati l'sham, I want to go somewhere, higati l'sham. Lamed is like, it's a contraction of the word el, like to, el hamakom hazeh. So in short, you say lamakom hazeh as opposed to el hamakom hazeh, because lamed actually implies all of that. It's where so when we say lichvod or lichvod lichvod Rosh Yeshiva, Judith Rezel. Okay, so that, what does it mean? It means honor goes to her. Lichvod, right? And lilmod is el halimud. We're going towards learning. So in other words, we're going towards a yaad. We're going towards a purpose of something. Lalechet, even the two lameds, the first lamed is like we're going towards the action of walking, activity of walking. Okay. Visually, Let me just get the. Someone's having a hard time. No, I'll just do, no, I'm muted. I did it.
Did?
Yeah, I did it right from here. Okay. No, she doesn't. Okay, well, why is this still on here? Okay, fine. So now, visually, what does the lamed look like? If like visualize it, close your eyes and visualize the lamed. It's made up of two basic letters. Which two basic letters is it made of? Ah, you cheated because you learned before. She's that student in class that's like, has all the answers, doesn't give a chance to anyone else to
If I
answer.
had all the answers, that would be terrible.
But you see it, it's a chaf with a vav on top. And some say it's not only that, but it's a chaf with a vav, but also a yud on top of the vav. Okay. So all of this make such great Torah. First of all, put those letters together, the chaf and the yud, let's say the beginning, the hamshachat, and then that forms a lamed. That forms a word in itself. What word does it form? You have a kaf and you have a yud, and the lamed. It's made up of the kaf and the yud. So what's kaf lamed yud? Okay. So this is the kli for getting ahead. And what's the visual instruction here? You have the kiseh. There's a few instructions here. You have the chair, and then you have like the person standing on the chair to see what's over there. Okay, that's one way of understanding. Another way of understanding. What did we learn about kaf last week? Isn't this fun?
So much fun.
And what is kaf?
I hope that all children learn this kind of
We should open up a school next time, Rosh Yeshiva. We'll open up an Alef base school. A snip. Okay.
We've been planning it.
But if little Mochen can't appreciate this, they don't like,
I disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, it can be done in a way. It can be done in a way that you're right. Okay, I
In a
I
graphic
accept.
way. with-
In a graphic way, not everything that I'm saying to you now, but yes, absolutely. Sowing the seeds of,
And the
Okay.
person on a chair.
yeah, that for sure they can get. But what is the letter chaf? What did you learn letter chaf is?
It's a container.
It's a container, but it's
also a former.
a former, le kofef. Okay, so how do we apply that? And then we have vav chibur. We have vav, the connector, sitting on kaf hamekofef. And the lamed is formed from those two things, and it's all about teaching. And teaching is about taking wisdom and doing something with it, information. But then it's not just for information's sake. So what does it mean? So we have all these bits of details of information in our head, and we're supposed to give them shape to form a das, to form a perspective. And that's the limud. Then you're doing something with your chokhmah. It's not just sitting there taking up space in your head. You're taking all the details and you're giving them shape, and then it's for a purpose of Bezrat Hashem making you come closer to Hashem, like Migdal Koreach Ba'avir. On the other hand, Chas v'Shalom, that's when you learn Torah. But Chas v'Shalom, there's something else that's Koreach Ba'avir. Guess what the lamed also can look like visually? Close your eyes. I gave it away by my. Okay, open your eyes and see what I'm doing. What does it look like? A snake. So the Zohar also speaks about Nachash Poreach Ba'avir. Because the Nachash also has this, he wants to sting you. And the Chokhmah that you want to get, instead of the Yud Chokhmah, the Yud on top of the Vav, you want to. So what's the Yud and the Vav and the Chav? It's that you take the Yud of Chokhmah, Yud, the sphere of Chokhmah, and you're mamshichet with the Vav, with the Kilim of this world, the Vav Chibur of this Gashmi world, and you're bringing it into your Mochen, but you're making it shape in order to ascend to Hashem. But the Nachash, what does it want to do with all the details in your head, or infect the information that's in your head, pollute it, to take you away? This is apicorsis. Apicorsis works the same way. It makes you go above your place, but into a bad place. In other words, if you're, instead of the lamed with the rosh going up, you're seeing the lamed descending downward, and that would be like the snake.
Wow.
Okay,
Also,
so that zelu madze bara Elokim.
a staff on the bottom left, and the name of it in biblical times, that was a lamed.
Oh, this is an ancient.
Lamed
Okay, it's
in
not biblical. I have to correct you
it's
because it's written.
Aramaic.
It's not Aramaic. It's
No.
ancient Hebrew, but it's not really Lashon Kodesh. Our Lashon Kodesh is exactly how it's written in the Torah. How we're learning the forms, the Alef, Bet, Gimel,
Okay,
as it's taught in Sefer Yetzirah. Those are the actual things.
okay.
People think that the
Yeah.
we call it, they call it, scholars in university, what do they know? They call it Ktav Ashuri. They claim that our Hebrew is actually from Assyria, but really the ancient Hebrew is all of these like things like this. But really, you asked this question. Our first thing, and I said at one of these times I'm going to make a whole lesson just on that. I'm going to give that. I remember you wearing a red shirt. Why these things stick in my head? I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. Why would I remember
That's
that?
so
And you were
good.
standing over there because it was a packed house.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. Okay.
But what it's.
But I can relate to this. I can relate it anyway. Melamed habakal. Okay. This is
You're teaching the animals how to go.
you're teaching your animals how to go. No, what I was trying to access is it in Shmuel? Is it in Melachim? Somewhere in Tanakh, someone is training, directing, giving direction to the animals of where to go. And the word is melamed habakal. Like you're steering the cattle to a certain direction, but the word is melamed habakal, and the Mepharshim say, what is this word doing here? What are you teaching the bakal? You're melamed habakal. Well, you're directing them. You're giving them instruction because that's what teachers do. That's what limud is supposed to do for us, give us direction. But Hasidus takes this melamed habakal and says, it's not talking about. Yeah, maybe it's talking about cattle work, people, cowboys, whatever, but it's also talking about us, an instruction for how we're supposed to lead the animal within us, the behemah within us, and to be kovesh, the yetzer of the animal, and give a direction through limud Torah, through giving it, and the direction comes from limud. So it's not coercion, it's not brainwashing, it's like you want to be melamed. So which brings me to the next thing. Not in any order, it's just stream of consciousness today. Lamed is Rashi Tevot, Lev Mevin Da'at. Lamed Mem Dalet. Lev Mevin Da'at. Okay. Where do we get this from? Otiot, you got it also. Otiot de Rabbi Akiva. Remember Rabbi Akiva, we love so much because he told us to love everybody. So he wrote a midrash on Otiot. And when he comes to Lamed, one of the things he says is Lev Mevin Dat. It's so Lamed is not just the Lamed of She'ifa, of aspiration, of strategizing, of direction, of knowing how to get from here to there, but it's also tells you how you're going to remember. It's the letter of Zikaron, of memory. And the secret to remembering things is in the word Lamed being Rashi Tevot for Lev Mevin Dat. Because when you engage the heart in what you're learning, you're hooked.
Yeah.
This is better teaching practices that people know today. You got to engage the whole student. And when it's not just stuffing them with, yes.
Yeah.
And you're not just stuffing them with information. You want to engage the heart so they know what to do with it. Otherwise, it's so what? What do you need me? I have Google to tell me all this information. Tell me what I need to do this for. That's where we're living now. We need the lev. And teachers are going, like coming from Montreal, being like in the day school system, we had a lot of professional days talking to us about you got to make an emotional connection with what it is that you're, first of all, teacher with students goes a long way, but also what you're learning. Lev mevin dat, such chokhmah in our Torah. When did Rabbi Akiva live to be able to say this? He knows what people now are just like waking up. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Especially when you connect it to chinuch being chaim.
And chinuch being chaim. So that's I'm gonna yes, because right. And so say more than that, flesh it out more with what you're saying.
This emotional connection, having a sweetness and
a grace
and grace, and coming into Hanukkah also, which
yeah.
the flames rising up.
Yeah. Okay.
Should appear similar to Lamed.
Yes. Beautiful. I like that. Wow. You should write that down and write your name on Adele. But no, it's a Chiddush. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I don't memorize it. I believe you.
No, but you have to write it down. Rabbi Nachman says you have to write it down.
Sure.
Okay.
You're gonna
So
have to do that.
okay. So this is so when you look at a Hebrew an ot from on Lashon Kodesh, it's not just a letter like A B C. It's like it's a holy mood. You want to. It's an essence of how to live. It's teaching us valuable lessons, but it's who we are. We're made up of these letters, and these are kochot within us. And it's just so nice and the letter itself teaches about its own self. Lamed, okay. Look at me visually. What do you see? Read me out, Lamed. What do I mean as a word? Now break it up to Rashi Tevas. And also gematria. What's the gematria of Lamed? 30. Chochma bina dat. The 10 sfirot of Chochma, 10 sfirot, because every sfirah is made up of 10, right? It's 10 of 10. So Chochma bina dat. This is the 30 that we need to use in order to really learn. This is the essence of it. Miriam's joining us. Okay, so yes, okay. Now, Lamed, I hope I'm gonna get to all the things I'm kind of like, it's already 10:37.
I'm
Okay.
also thinking like if Lamed is the 12th letter, it's like
I was gonna, how did you know? Like you're psychic? Like that's exactly what I was gonna like. It's the you see if you write it out, Alef to Tav. Let me see what you have to say first though.
I mean, no, I was thinking about the Shvatim and that there are 12 Shvatim and learning from each other.
Okay, so you can do that to
Well,
everything.
yeah,
You're getting a little bit like carried away there, but there is something to the fact that okay, we have 22 letters, which means they're divided 11 and 11, and Lamed is the 12th. So there's two middle letters, the Kaf and the Lamed. The Kaf is number 11 from Alef to Chaf, and then Lamed is the 11th letter from Tashak. If you read it from Taf to backwards, okay. So you have the Kaf and they have the Lamed, and then you have the Mem. By the way, read those three letters backwards. Chaf, Lamed, Mem. Melech. Why is that in the middle? Why is that in the middle? Now visually, just visually, you have the Kaf, which is like a kiseh. It looks like a chair. And the Lamed coming from the Kaf looks like it's about to sit on the chair. And the Lamed all together is sitting on the Kaf. So it's like, and then you have the Mem, which is Malchus. So you have all of those three concepts in the Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Lamed, Chaf. And it's in the middle of the alphabet because if you want to rule, then you have to understand. And the Lamed is sitting, and it's like, so visually, if you're the teacher and you're sitting on the chair and you have all your students sitting around you, that's all the other letters. What to know what to do with all these letters. If you're a king sitting on the Kiseh Malchut, you have all the subjects around you and you're ready to dispense your wisdom and tell them how to go. and it's in the middle.
That's another thing.
And it's yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh. And so you're sitting on the Kiseh Malchut, Kiseh Kavod, and this is who has Melucha, someone who sits and rules with the Mochen, with the Chochma Bina Dat of ruling their life, of knowing your Chochma Bina Dat is ruling the rest of the emotions, the other Sfirot, the other Otiot, right? And this makes you king. This gives you Malchus. Okay. And why is it written backwards? Why is Melech backwards this way? Why is it Kaf Lamed Mem?
Yesterday.
I did?
Yeah.
You mean last week?
Yesterday. No, the other day when we did Ashla.
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, remind me.
I have to find it.
Oh, well, no, Kalem, right.
Yeah,
Kalem.
right.
Kalem means if you don't rule with the head first, then you get if you rule with the head then you're a melech. You're a sholet on your body, on moach, lev, kaved, melech, on your whole full structure, your intellect and emotions and instincts. That's melech. You didn't know this? Oh, I thought everybody knew this. Okay, but if you don't do that, if you start with your instincts and your instincts are telling you what to feel, and your feeling is your feelings are dictating what you're going to think, then it's kalem. Then it's read backwards. Kalem means kaput, finished. You're kalem, destroyed. So, all right. But so why is, in our case of Aleph Bet, why is it written kalem going forward, but written mel going backwards? Because, so, okay. So you heard of Tashrak? You know what Tashrak means? No, Atbash, not Tashrak. You know what Atbash is? Is when you line up the letters from Aleph to Chaf in order, and then underneath the Aleph, you're writing the letters you're writing the letters from Aleph to Tav, the way it's written, and then underneath that you write the letters Tav to Aleph. So under the Aleph becomes Tav, so those are interchangeable when they're the way they're aligned. It's called Atbash. When you read the words with Atbash, like backwards, like going from the end to the beginning, that's the perspective of from the Elyonim to the Tachtonim. In other words, we're starting Aleph and we're going up to Tav, but from the top, they're starting with, like in Shemaim, they're starting with the Tav, and the last thing is Aleph. So from the perspective of Olam Haba, you want to get to be a Melech, this is the way to do it. So it's because if from the perspective of up to down, spirituality to physicality, then that's how you're perceived. This is what's going to give you Malchus.
So Shemaim Tav is the first.
What?
So Shemaim
Tav is first.
Tav is first.
And if you backwards, it's Kaplan, and then it goes to the name goes to the cup.
You have to line it up. You have to line it up to see which letter lines up under which letter. Okay.
Better do that.
Okay. So now where's your thing here? See what she's using? This is show and tell here. Everyone's bringing something. What do you see in this jewelry that she's wearing?
Lamed.
You're not just seeing one lamed.
Lamed.
You're seeing two lameds mirror image of each other. Okay, what's that about? This is a thing. It's a Kabbalistic symbol. You want to tell us about that? The history of how you got it?
No, actually, all I know about it is that's the Ginsburg. It's from Rav Ginsburg,
Okay.
and says the Jewish heart, the lamed, two lameds together,
Right.
and we're holding everything in our heart.
Okay. So now let me. That's beautiful, and let me flesh it out a little bit more.
Of course.
Better.
Okay.
Nice to talk about this in Kislev. Beautiful.
That's right. Okay. So when visualize it like this, you see like the top of the lamed looks like a head. It's the top of it, and then the body of the lamed is like the kaf, and then you have another lamed facing mirror image. What does that mean? So you have and it forms a heart. So it's like you could imagine two people facing each other. And when they're connecting eye level to each other and they're communicating, Ezu chacham lomed mikol adam, or right, Ezu chacham lomed mikol, who is the wise person, the one who can learn from everybody. You have to be at eye level with somebody, and that creates a heart. That's a connector. That's the v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. That's the key to it. That's the key behind the wise person in Rabbi Nachman's story who healed the Turkey prince from his mishigas. He got naked under the table with him. Eye level. He didn't just scream from on top, hey, you mishiganer, what are you doing? Get up from under the table. Like, no, you got it. You make a connection, a chibur, vav, a chibur, with your chokhmah, with your wisdom, with your yud on top of the vav, into the kli. That's can now be a receiver and a giver, right? With the chaf. And when you meet people at that level, then it's heart and it's connection. And another way of seeing it is like lamed bet. This is what le vet. This is what leads to the bracha of the bet. This is the secret of living a life that goes towards bracha.
That's it leads bet is 2, so then like the lev.
Yeah, 2 times lamed.
2 times lamed.
You could say 2 times lamed, but you were saying something else.
I was just saying that bet is 2, and what we were saying about bite and coming together in connection.
Yes. Chitzoniut, pnimiut, and everything like that. But the lev, you can read it as 2 lameds. 2 times lamed. Bet is 2. And you have 2 times lamed, so that's this. Julie. Okay, let's see. So it's the letter that allows us to go above the natural frame that we find ourselves in, to defy gravity, physically and spiritually. We have a tevis, I'm locked in, I can't go. But the Lamed says, no, you can go above. Look at me, I'm going above. I'm the tower that's what? Towering, soaring in the air. So it defies gravity, right? In other words, I'm down here, but I can be Ruchani. So it's a letter of Aliyah Ruchanit, to try to connect to the shorish, to the roots that are above, and to become more spiritual, more godly, more giving. So if we're going to borrow from Rav Ashlag's class, right, to go to change the teva of Ratzon Lekabel, just me down here, to lehashpia, to be a mashpia shefa, to be more like Hashem, to defy the teva, aliyah ruchanit. So if you could imagine, like the lamed is like, again, visually, it's like an arrow pointing upward, but it's a derech, it's a derech, it's a path of how to ascend, to go up. Okay. Here, it's from Shoftim. I was totally wrong. It wasn't from Shmuel. It wasn't from Melachim. This pasuk of Melamed Habakar, to goad an ox, to train it to go in a certain direction, power to direct and control animal instincts. But that's also, we learn that from Shoftim. It's Shamgar ben Anat, the Shofet, that did that. He did that, and then we learn that from the Chassidus says, no, it's talking about you. This is you're supposed to train, to teach the animal instinct how to go. And with this limud, we get to bracha. Okay, so now I'm going to. Oh, this is fun. It's all fun, but okay. Okay, in Kohelet, in chapter 3. Where is your Tanakh? Here. In Kohelet chapter 3, there's all like lechol zman velechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. You know that? Et lirkod, at this, at that. Actually, it's not. Yeah, I said it wrong, but let me just make a mistake and get it. Kohelet Perek Gimel. So if you'll notice, I'm going to read it, and notice if you pick up something, okay? Et laledet, et lamut, okay? Et lata'at ve'et la'akor natua, et laharog ve'et lirpo, et lifrot ve'et livnot, et livkot ve'et lischok, et sfod ve'et rekod. Et lehashlich avanim ve'et knos avanim. Did you notice something already?
Just trying to things around.
But also not all of them have this, that have a lamed.
Everybody has a lamed except for 2.
Oh,
Everybody has a lamed. Et lehashlich avanim, et lachavok, et lirchok, et levakesh, le'abed, lishmor, le'ashlich. Only 2 of those 28 things don't have the lamed in front, which are et sfod ve'et rekod.
It's fog.
Sfod, lispod, like to mourn, to grieve. Okay, it's for like to do a hesped. It's sfod ve'et rekod. Why would all the other times, a time to be born, a time to be born, a time to plant? This is Kohelet.
We don't anticipate.
See the English, they didn't. They put the 2 in there because you can't say it. A time to wail, a time to dance. But the 2 is not mentioned in the Hebrew. It's sfod, time, dance, time, whale. Because in English you can't, but it's a loss of Torah, this English.
Yeah.
So why isn't the sfod, the mourning and the dancing, have a lamed to? What is the lamed? What does the lamed mean?
To teach. To action.
To teach, to strategize, to put into action, but something else, to go towards something. It's a letter of direction, of purpose.
Right. So why dance not?
Why dance not? Okay,
Why
because
everything
okay,
is
because
Yeah.
okay, because we have two mitzvahs in the Torah that says that also the lamed stands for limud, and the ultimate limud is limud Torah, and there's two times that you're allowed to be mevatel limud Torah. Achnasat kala, halvayat hamet. So there's no lamed in the sfod and the rekod, because you're allowed to put down the book to go deal with the dead and with the kala.
That's amazing.
So it's a time dance, but not to learn. In order not to, you just dance. You got to make it spontaneous. Don't think about it. You're there. You got to do it. You got to put the book down. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
What's a third?
What
No,
third?
she said
What
Third that
third?
doesn't have a lamed.
What?
There's a third word that doesn't have
No.
a lamed.
Two.
No, there's a et le'ashlich avanim ve'et knos avanim, and I don't know why the knos avanim doesn't have. There's another parish for it, but I don't know it.
Oh, I saw with just the two, one of those.
When you, yeah, at the time to gather stones. I don't know. Time to gather stone, because I don't know. I didn't get that far. You stumped the teacher. You get a brownie. You get the.
I'm just curious, there must be a good.
You
one.
asked the Shaila. You guys get the sticker.
Curious.
In yeshiva, they give stickers to students who give who ask the good questions.
Call a bomba.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I don't know. It's a good question and there's a good answer. I just don't know it.
Sure there is.
Okay, fine. So now, let's go in the first time in Torah that the lamed is mentioned for as its essence. Okay, in terms of what it's like a leading to, meaning to. Vayikra Elokim la'or yom ve'lachoshech kara layla. First of all, the word Lila is like awesome. It has two lameds in there. What's up with the Lila that it has two lameds? V'ikra la'or yom, because we're supposed to go towards the or. We're supposed to go el ha'or. The or, again, Chanukah or ganuz of Breshit, for sure, right? But what's Lila? First of all, Laila sounds like the word yelala, right? Wailing of the night. And in the night is when we hear the yelala of suffering, or howling, when in the quiet of the night, that's when we hear it. But it also is like this. Laila, meaning dark, meaning choshech, but lechoshech kara laila, lechoshech kara laila. We have Matthias called choshech, and it's called laila. And how we're supposed to use the night, okay, from Chatzot, we're supposed to get up and learn Torah. Not us women, but okay, we can go and do other things, but we have to take care of other things in the morning, so whatever. But the Laila was given over to Girsa. That's what the Talmud says. Girsa means Limud Torah. Chatzot Laila, Kum b'Chatzot Laila. But the Laila is made up of a Lamed and a Yud, and then a Lamed and a Hey. What did we learn about Yud and Hey? What are those two letters?
Ish and Isha.
There's Ish and Isha, but as letters, which were they? Okay, let me give you a hint. They refer to the two different worlds: Olam Haruchani and Olam Hazeh. Olam Haba and Olam Hazeh. Yud is Olam Haba, Hey is Olam Hazeh. So these are the choices. The Laila, how you are going to use the choshech of your life, or the physical night that we're talking about. We can take this, we can go towards Olam Hazeh, La Lehei, or we can go towards Olam Haba, Le Yud. We can use our energies. Where are you going to? Where are you using your limud? Where are you using this power to be maromem you, to be migdal poreach ba'avir, to work on building your Olam Haba, Le Yud, or Lehei. To descend to Shefel HaBe'emiyut, Olam Hazeh, that would be the That would be the nachash boreach ba'avir. Chas v'shalom. That would be the olam hazeh that's disconnected from Torah. So what?
That's great.
So the leyud is el olam haba and lehei is el olam hazeh, and that's your choice in the Laila.
Also at night, there's just more connection between this world and other worlds.
Because
That's just the time.
that's just because it's less distractions of the day, so you can focus on these.
It's also dream time.
That's right.
There's more fluidity.
That's right. Exactly. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm gonna close my book and I'm gonna open up this book and I'm gonna read you what Rabbi Ginsburg only Rabbi Ginsburg could say how Rabbi Ginsburg says it. So I decided instead of me trying to figure out how to say it in my own words, let me just read it straight from him. But it's like it's hard. He's highly intellectual. It's like not the easiest, you have to like really okay. On this word lev mevin dat, right? Lamed is lev mevin dat. It's an engaged heart, a heart that understands knowledge. He says the numerical value of this is 608 of lev mevin dat. 608 is a multiple of lev, heart, and the gematria of that is 32 times chava, 19 times lev, chava. Chava is 19. Chava like Eve, our mother Eve. Okay, Chava, which means he says it's like, in other words, it's the heart of Chava. In his commentary on the story of the Garden of Eden, the original episode of mankind, Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra states that Adam is the secret of the brain, Eve the secret of the heart, the snake the secret of the liver. In Kabbalah and Chassidut, these fundamental correspondences are developed and explained in depth. Adam and Eve, male and female, are the prototype spiritual forces of giving and receiving, right? The marital union and gift of male to female relates to the secret of knowledge, as it is said, and Adam knew his wife Eve. For this reason, Adam and Eve are often seen to represent teacher and pupil. The teacher contracts his intellect into a point of yud. Now visualize the lamed again. You got the yud of chokhmah, okay? The teacher, even the visual, he's teaching us now what the dynamic, the breakdown of what goes on when learning happens. Okay, so the teacher has chokhmah. It's the teacher contracts his intellect into a point, the yud, in order to convey his teaching to a student. That's the vav, because you're mamshich, you're elongating, you're bringing down the yud of chokhmah and making a connection with the student, figuring out ways how the student can receive it. Whereas the student nullifies his previous levels of conception to become a fitting vessel, that's the chaf, for the new wondrous teachings of his teacher. I'm a kliki bull for you, my teacher. And that's the lamed, the yud of chachma of the teacher going down into the kli of the mekabel of the student. And he says, and this happens all the time. Every time there's a mashpia and a mekabel, that's the dynamic. In particular, the form of the lamed represents the aspiration of the truly devoted pupil to learn from the mouth of the teacher. The literal meaning of the letter lamed is to learn or teach. The seed of wisdom alluded to by the letter yud descends from the brain, Adam, to impregnate the full consciousness of the heart, chava. The heart aspires upwardly to receive this point of insight from the brain. This is the secret of the form of the letter lamed, the heart ascending in aspiration to conceive and comprehend, understand knowledge, the point of wisdom, the yud situated at the top of the lamed. So now going back to her lamed, this is the teacher and the pupil facing each other, creating the heart in between. When you put a lamed and lamed together like that, it forms the heart. And together, that's the engagement. Our sages refer to the lamed as a tower soaring in the air, 300 laws. Really, okay. Let's see. Did I? So now I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this away. And we're going to do this show and tell. I love this. This is like so unexpected that it's so beautiful. You know what I didn't tell you before this? Because this is going to enrich what you're saying, okay?
Did you do this in California too? This type of thing?
Not like this. I went to a
The right
Chabad,
answer.
that everything's different and special.
Totally.
I want to tell you the story of like the Alef Bet, the way we usually do it. Okay. There's a few ways of seeing it. If you live your life according to like the instructions of the Alef to Tav, Alef Bet Gimel Dal Hey Vav Zayin Chet Tet, okay? Tet, not Tav. Like, right? What we've been learning. Then you get to Olam Haba, right? Then you get to the Yud, to the Olam Haruchani. So, so one person like that is zoche to if you handle the kochot from Aleph to Tet correctly means al pi Torah and mitzvahs, and you're refining yourself as a person, and you're right, and you're mindful of your ruchnius, and these are the physical is just a kli to help you ascend spiritually. Then you get to the Yud. Then that means you have makbil, you have strengthened your ruchnius, your spirit. That's the Yud. Over the chomer, over the kaf. The kaf is a chomer because the kaf is a thing that gives shapes to things, to the chomer, right? It's a shaper, which is the biggest thing that we have to give shape to is our yetzer at the time of nisayon, and that is helped by the she'ifa, by the aspiration of the lamed. So you have the yud chaf lamed, you have the ruchnius overcoming the chomer due to the aspiration you have to reach a spiritual perfection. That's the lamed, and through the limud, through the Torah and mitzvahs. Another way of looking at this, and this, by the way, is in Gemara Sanhedrin, no, Shabbos 104, A or B. I think it's A, but it's Shabbos 104. Imato sechen. If you go through, the Gemara says, if you do this from Aleph to Tet, imato sechen. Actually, it stops. I'm starting from Vav. Imato sechen from Aleph to Vav, because Vav is the asiyah of this world, the chomer. Then Hakadosh Baruch Hu zan otcha. He will nourish you. Zayin. V'chan otcha will give you grace. You'll have grace. You'll have the chen of Hashem, your Metzias chen. Umetiv lach, the tet. That's Zayin Chetet, and you'll have the Tov because you're living a life of Tov. V'noten lecha Yerusha Yud. You'll have a Yerusha in Olam Haba. That's your place. V'kosher lecha Keter Kaf, and you'll have a crown on your head. Le Olam Haba, with the shifa of getting to this place Olam Haba. That's Yud Chaf Lamed. These are all different degrees, levels, and how we acquire Olam Haba. Being mindful of the Yud Chaf Lamed. Okay. Now let's go to this. Okay. Okay. So we have the Lamed and we have the Keter here. See, because the Keter is like is the She'ifa. Is what we want is Keser Malchus. We want the Kaf Lamed Mem to be sitting on the throne of Kavod and being in a ruling power over our animal instincts and everything else, and that makes you a melech. That makes you a melech. She says here, she has the heart because the lamed is lev, 2 lameds. We spoke about that. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele al levavecha. The lamed is lev mevin dat. These words that if you take the words of Torah and you put them on your heart, in other words, you're engaged, you're emotionally connected to them, then you're a warm Jew. You're a heart Jew. The Baal Shem Tov, it said about him that he used to walk around and putting his palm on people's hearts and say, you should be a varm Jew, you should be a warm Jew. Because for Hasidus, it's the lev is ikar. How many people are so top heavy, you know?
They call them cultilitvas.
Yeah. Okay, so you have here Melamed Bakar, that's the training, the teaching of the animal, but it means like to instruct and guide. Lamed, lev mevin dat, lamed. In Israel, you want to tell us about the Israel?
Yeah. Okay. The Yud is the smallest letter.
Right.
the Lamed is the tallest.
Is the
letter.
tallest letter.
So we go from the
Oh
small.
my
Beautiful, beautiful.
For the rush in the middle.
And she has actually a tower. She has a tower soaring in the sky there.
Yeah.
A tower soaring in the air. She even has that. The Migdal HaPoreach Ba'avir.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it's so beautiful.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's great.
thank you.
So Israel starts with the limud. To be an Israel, to be a Jew, it's going from Yud to the Lamed, to this Migdal Poreach Ba'avir. Oh my gosh.
Gosh, yeah.
I'm telling you,
You get better.
this is your
every week.
parnassa.
Doesn't she? Every week she gets better.
I learn a little bit more.
But you could help so many people with this.
Because she learned this the week before. so
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
building on-
it's building.
She
Yeah,
says
but
here,
I forget a lot from before. It's like.
Consciously,
It's a
but not
lot.
subconsciously,
No,
you're
probably.
absorbing it all.
Probably not.
you have something here. The Torah ends with Lamed, the tallest letter,
Wow.
to teach us that the Torah uplifts and glorifies one who studies it with heart.
Oh.
Sifsei Kohen. It's beautiful.
Sifsei who?
Sifsei Kohen. It's a sefer. I don't know from who, but it's a known book.
Yeah.
Sifsei Kohen. He must have been a Kohen. But okay. The Torah ends with Lamed, and of course the Torah begins with a bet. So together they form Lev,
Right.
because as soon as you end, we have to begin again. But I love that the Torah ends with Lamed, the tallest letter, to teach us that Torah uplifts and glorifies one who studies it with his heart. And here, the name Israel begins with the smallest letter Yod and ends with the tallest Lamed to indicate that a Jew has the potential to develop from a small child into a great person. With the human.
That's like that, like the word.
Oh, I didn't speak about that. Gimel, Lamed is this is just so beautiful.
know.
Like, no, seriously, we got to share this with the world.
Like the Gemilut Chasadim, and then that's how you.
Exactly. So Gimel is 3 and Lamed is 30. So they're multiple, so which means they're connected to each other. So if you write it in a circle, like, the single digits, and then above the single digits, you write the double digits above on that, then above the Gimel, you'll find the Lamed. And because Gimel is a koach of to be a mashpia, of latet, of natina, gmila, to give, and the Lamed is teaching, and the ultimate of giving is teaching. You want to give what is that thing? Teach a fisherman how to fish, or give him a rod, or what, fishing rod. The ultimate tzedakah is to give somebody to teach. Yes. So this is it. So that's why Gimel is to ligmol chasadim, but the root of the word is actually ligmol. Ligmol gmila means to wean off. To wean off.
Yeah.
When you wean off babies from mother's milk, when you get off drugs, they use the same thing. Gmila mi samin. It's when you go. So what is the ultimate detail? What is the ultimate in giving? In making you not have to be a receiver anymore, giving you the independence of not being a recipient of Gmilut Chasadim. That's the ultimate of Gmilut Chasadim, of giving. And that's the Lamed on the highest level of teaching, of education. But of course, we're talking about Torah. It happens in all other areas. It works because it's a Lamed, it's a koch that exists in the world, and that's how it works. But to get to the Yud Chaf Lamed, the Olam Haba, and all of the Mitukan things, then we do it al pi Torah mitzvahs. Okay, the last thing is if you have it in your name at the beginning of your name. So here I just took a picture of Rabbi Zamir Cohen's book, which I take this from. לאור האמור, כאשר האות למד מופיעה בשמו של אדם, ובפרט אם היא בתחילת שמו, מקבל הוא באמצעותה שאיפה גדולה ללמוד ולדעת. So people with lamed names, especially at the beginning, have great aspirations to learn and to know more. אהבה לדברי חוכמה, they love knowledge. Is this your Leah? Yeah? Okay. ופתיחות לקבל דברים הגיוניים, and also an openness to receive logical things. Talk logic, Is she like that? Talk logic, because they're strategizing. They're like, break it into I'm going to see how it works. Is this really going to lead me to where I want to go? It's practical. It's practical knowledge. Rom Gova ve'ofya hamalchuti. It's like it has like a kingly stature to it, right? Just by looking at it. Shel ha'ot lamed ma'anika lo chen miyuchad. It gives a person a certain chen, certain grace. That's what you're picking up on your theme there. Netiya liyofi. So there's also a netiya. How do you say netiya?
Sensitivity.
A sensitivity towards beauty. Also chitzoni lemareh mushlam. Like they like physical. They like to look good. They like to because the letter looks good. Because it lords. It's so they have this tchuna about them to be self-aware of or wanting the chitzonius to match up. But on the negative, everything can be expressed on the negative or the positive. On the positive, it'll be used for Torah and mitzvahs and all the chen from the limud. And the negative, you can look down upon people from this she'ifa that you have and thinking that you know more than other people. And they can be a little bit on the spiritual, superficial side of things. If not, they could be snobby about their knowledge. It could be. I'm not going to ask if that's Leah. Don't tell us. Omnam yodea hu li'ishtalev lichot benoam. But generally speaking, they know how to zorem, to live life benoam, b'derech eretz, with everybody. Adam ze kishroni min yihul. Oh, they're good managers. Which is totally Leah with Simcha. She's always managing his YouTube account and the Zooming, and she's the menahelet over there. Because they have a good menahel rosh. They know how to break things apart and strategize and do things. B'yoto berosh kamelech v'mekabel achlatot levado. They like to receive. They get the information, but then ultimately they'll make up their own mind and they'll make up their own decisions without having to. They'll be mityaes because olomed mikol adam. They'll seek advice, but ultimately it's going to be their own mind making up the decision. Ofi malchuti ze alul ligrom lo liot akshan. So this tchuna can get them to be stubborn. Ha'omed al da'ato, that stands firm on their dat. Umitkasher lekabel dat acheret, and sometimes it could be like, I made up my mind. Now don't confuse me with the facts. I have all the facts that I need, and it's adkan. Meidach she'ifato lemareh mushlam, but they like the it says here she'ifa lemareh mushlam v'leshleimut b'chol ha'chaim. They go after perfection in all areas, even chitzoni. Ba lidei bitui gam b'shi'ifatav leshalom. They have a shifa for peace. V'bikishrono hamiyuchad lehashkin shalom ben shnayim mesuchsachim. So they're good arbitrators, mediators between people. This lev. Okay.
That was too much.
Thank you so much. Kol tov, Nechama. Nice to meet you.